Well, hello everybody. So good to see you again. I look forward to our time together as always, and today is certainly no exception. Let me express my feeling of joy in being here with you and sharing some thoughts. I've been um, talking to myself a little bit over the weekend, which is as my dad used to say, I guarantee of at least one good conversation. Uh, he was such a funny, delightful guy, and I learned so many things about keeping a positive attitude from him. And I guess I've probably been thinking about him a little bit more than usual this time of the year because late spring was actually his very favorite time. Uh, I think as I've been practicing resting, I'm beginning to get a sense of what it actually looks like. And I'm liking it. Um, you know, Sometimes when you're trying something that's not normally uh, always present in your wheelhouse, you have to play with it for a period of time and make tweaks and adjustments to make sure that it's really something that you want to engage in on an ongoing basis. And rest is one of those things that I am really uh, enjoying very, very much. I am guilty of being a bit of a workaholic, and I've seen changes in my not only mental state of being, but my physical state of being as I've been much more attuned to making sure that I give myself a special period of time to decompress. Um, and I like how it is playing out as I practice more and more. And that's something else that I found that I need to practice resting. It just doesn't come to me intuitively. I need to take some time out of my day and focus on this. I've also discovered that rest is much more than physical. Uh, it's only one small aspect of what it means to give yourself an opportunity to rest. Actually, I think there probably, if you were starting to count them, at least seven different dimensions to what rest is composed of, including physical rest. Uh, it also includes mental rest, sensory rest, creative rest, emotional rest, social rest, and spiritual rest. I know one thing that I have always been aware of, uh, but really didn't address. Um, I'm one of those rare people that does not like to shop. I'm a person that's very task oriented. I like to know what I want to get. I want to go to the store and I want to get it and come home. Uh, and it occurred to me during this process that what I'm actually responding to is sensory overload. I get so overwhelmed by all the stuff in the store that it's exhausting to me. And I never realized it until I started going through this. I, life is a journey and you learn as you go and you learn something new every day. But when I looked at the mental, sensory, creative, emotional, social, and spiritual planes, um, I understood that you can get exhausted in many different areas and maybe never give yourself time to really rest up from it. Um, if you spend all day staring at a computer screen, again, that's a type of sensory exhaustion and also mental exhaustion. Uh, so maybe watching a movie at night, which is again another sensory experience, might not be the most resting and restorative activity I could choose. It might not leave me feeling refreshed or replenished. Uh, we need to match our rest, I have found, to the specific type of fatigue that we're feeling if we want to get the biggest bang for our buck. Uh, to practice active stillness effectively, we have to know what we need. Uh, if I were in back-to-back meetings all day long, I probably would want an hour of solitude rather than interacting in a card game or something with a group of people. Uh, that would better match my needs for that particular day. And we have the ability to diversify our approach to downtime to ensure that we get what we need. And whatever rest that we choose fits that need. Rest doesn't need to be a huge chunk of time either. That I found out, and that was delightful. Uh, a lot of us don't have a big chunk of time to devote to something. We're not going to be taking a weekend vacation, let alone a week-long vacation. Sometimes it's even hard to get a full day to just shut down. But we can take whatever moments we have and make the best use of them all the time. That's something that is within our power. I sort of been calling it power pocket. I can pick a little few minutes of time out of the most busy day and just take a break for a few minutes to sort of maintain a steady level of energy, which is very helpful. Something as simple as, we talked about last week, just going and standing outside in the fresh air and taking a few deep breaths, or looking out the window and watching the clouds go by. Uh, that sometimes is enough to do it. Rather than running over and checking your phone and see if you got any messages or your email to see if anybody has written you. Take 60 seconds to sit with your eyes closed and your hands in your lap, if nothing else, and take a few deep breaths. This tiny moment of stillness is a signal to the brain that a transition is happening. And it prevents what I sort of look at as task residue from what I was doing before that was really beginning to weigh on me pretty heavily. We can design our environment, I think, to accommodate an opportunity to decompress. Pay particular attention to selecting a space somewhere in your environment that is going to be called your restorative space. Maybe it's that so comfy blanket and that recliner chair that you sort of snuggle down into and the world just goes away for a little bit. Maybe it's a chair out on the back porch where you can look out in the yard and maybe watch the bunnies hop out from under the outbuilding with their babies. Maybe you can watch the birds at the feeder. Everybody can designate one little space that helps them restore themselves. And that environment gives you the permission slip that you sometimes need to just kick back and let go for a little bit. And very often that is enough to allow your mind to rest. It's related definitely to the practice of sensory grounding. And that's where I think we sort of use the technique uh, to engage our physical senses to anchor us in the safety of being present now, uh, and turning off or even ignoring our inner taskmaster that is making demands. Oh, get up and get busy. You don't have time to sit here and think thoughts. You need to be working and doing this and accomplishing that. Uh, and to me, sensory grounding is sort of a way of checking in with all five of our senses. Uh, and it's sort of fun to do if you start out with your basic senses and you just sit in whatever your restorative place is, which gives you permission to think thoughts, uh, and for me to talk out loud to all of you. And during the five senses check-in, I try to identify five things I can see. I just look around, and say, oh, my orchid's blooming. Oh, I like how that bookshelf's arranged. I mean, you're just looking around, being cool, seeing what you see. Uh, then I usually go to, are there four things that I can touch? And that old blankie that I love so much is one of them. Maybe it's rubbing the dog behind the ears, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's four things that I can touch that sort of mellow me out. Then it's three things I can hear. And, I just be still. And last night I heard a whippoorwill when I was sitting on the back porch. That was the very first thing that I heard. And I thought, oh, how cool is that? It's the first whippoorwill I've heard this whole year. Then it was two things I can smell. And one of them was a neighbor put a fire in the fire pit next door, and it smelled so good. And I really think that they were probably roasting s'mores from the different smells I was getting from over there. And I thought seriously about walking over there and visiting, but I thought, no, don't really need it some more. I think I'll pass. Um, and then one thing I can taste. And that happened to be, I had a glass of iced tea, uh, and I was sipping on it. And so I took a sip of tea, uh, and just kept sitting there. As time went by, I noticed a few more things. Somebody had just cut grass, and I could smell the scent of fresh grass, which was one of my favorite smells in the whole world. I could hear the sound of a lawnmower because they were still cutting, and the temperature was cooling off, which, I was thinking I need to wrap this blanket a little bit tighter around me. But see what I mean? You're sensory grounding yourself in the now. And by this intentional direction of my attention toward this sensory world, I found out that the nothing I was doing was actually a very rich and very replenishing experience and didn't really take much time, certainly didn't take much effort. And I absolutely, thoroughly enjoyed it. Integrating active stillness into my life really has required me to move from thinking about it in the abstract of what does taking a break mean, to some specific practices that do restore my spirit. Uh, and I've sort of looked at it as a rest audit. Uh, every time you feel a dip in energy, you can ask yourself, which of the 7 types of rest do I actually need right now? Uh, if I'm tired of people, it's okay to choose social rest. If I'm tired of looking at screens like on my phone or on my computer or on the TV, uh, maybe I need sensory rest. Think about what kind of rest you mean. You may not need a nap. You may need another type of break entirely. And then getting in touch with your environment and actually resetting that, I find to be, for me, the very best way to rest. I get rid of what's cluttered around my home or my work that's maybe interfering with how I'm living my life. Um, I can usually remove one item of what I call productivity, like my laptop, uh, a charger, or a daily planner, and replace that with one item of stillness, even like lighting a candle or a soft pillow, and commit to spending just 5 minutes focusing on that. And the restorative power of those moments of rest have really made this last few weeks um, so much more precious and so much more pleasant. So I hope you're working through and thinking about ways you can get the rest you need, where you need it, when you need it, and enjoy every moment of your life as fully and refreshed as it possibly can be. For now, I'm going to let you go. You have a wonderful week ahead and integrate all the moments of your life, including the ones where you just take a break. Talk to you later. Bye.